In this video, I'm going to cover a powerful tool in Sage Intacct Construction, project estimates with a work breakdown structure, or WBS. Together, these tools give you a detailed, organized view of your project's planned costs and scope, right down to the task and cost type level. So let's walk through how this works. So the work breakdown structure represents your project work as a visual hierarchy of manageable sections. Instead of looking at a project as one large lump sum of costs, the WBS breaks it down into structured layers that makes it easier to plan, track, and report on. In Sage Intacct Construction, the WBS is built into 3 dimensions. So right here, we're going to look at these dimensions. It's broken down into the project. This is the top level representing the overall body of work. And then we have the task. This is a specific type of work within the project, such as you might see foundations, framing, electrical rough-in, fencing. So these are the cost codes or tasks. And then you also have the cost types. This is the lowest level representing the cost for each task, such as labor, materials, subcontracts, equipment, or overhead. We have a breakdown here. And then the standard catalogs within Sage are broken out into your standard cost codes, cost types, and within those cost types, you have accumulation types. These 3 dimensions work together. The task is unique to a specific project, and cost type can only exist within that specific project and task combination. This means before you select a cost type, you must first identify the project and task, ensuring that your estimates are always precisely mapped to the right area. So first off, to have the WBS in place, you need to set up everything in order. You're going to need to set up your project dimension, your task or cost code dimension, and then your cost type dimension. And then you can define your standard catalogs in that order. So let's get into entering the WBS estimate. First off, let's go into our projects module, which we've been in for most of the series, and we'll make sure we're on the All tab, and we'll head into project estimates. You can manually add an estimate here, or you can import the estimate with WBS. So I'm going to pull up that file. To locate these files, you're going to go to Company. You'll need to be on top level to locate the files. You'll go into Company, Setup, and Import Data. And here you can look for the import estimate with WBS. To download this file, you'll select Template, and you'll download. Here I have a template that I've made for this import file with a few notes. So I have some notes here for myself. Any row with a pound sign will not be imported. So it's asking for my estimate ID, the estimate date, if it's a primary estimate, which it is, what estimate type, it's a current estimate, is it going to be posted to the GL, and then what GL budget ID, what date am I going to use? I'm using the effective date. It's asking for the project ID to link it to the estimate. So up until K, we're in the header. Now we get into the entries table here in L, and I have 2 rows here. It'll ask whether it's an original line or a revised line. And then in column N, we'll start entering our task IDs. These rows are if you're entering any parent tasks and child tasks. And in R, we have our cost type ID. S will be the item ID. In my instance, I'm using Gen for general. It might be different in yours. And then you have options to break out units of measure, quantity, unit cost, and the amount. You can add a memo if you'd like for the lines. This field is for your account number, but it will autofill based off your cost type, asking for your effective date again, your location ID, department ID if you're using it, and the project ID, as well as the customer. Make sure to save this as a CSV file as you would with any import in Sage Intacct before importing. I'm going to manually enter my estimate, so I'm going to select Add here. I have auto sequencing on, so the estimate ID will automatically be sequenced. Any field with an asterisk is required, so it's asking for my project ID here. You can add a description if you'd like. Here you'll select your estimate type. I'm going to be using current estimate. The current estimate will track any original revisions or approved changes to the estimate. If I were to just select original, it would only track the original lines. So the current estimate tracks more. Then you have your status here, whether this estimate is active, inactive, if your project's closed out or it's been finalized. And then we have our estimate date. This can't be before the project start date. I'd like to mention, once this status is updated to finalized, it is locked and you cannot update it. You can drop in your attachment here for the original bid. And then this is my primary estimate. This is your project information as it's tracked. I have the begin date of my project and the end date, the customer ID, and my location. Then you have the section to integrate with GL. This is so you can get these estimate on reports and you can track original cost versus actual costs. So I'm going to post this to my GL budget. And here I'm selecting the GL budget ID. So it's a project estimate. Let's view this. So this is just tracking the project estimates here. This comes standard within Sage Intacct. And then you have the posting period here. I'm going to choose the period of each estimate entry effective date. This captures all the effective dates for any lines I add to this estimate moving forward. In here we have our estimate entries table. Under more actions, you can edit this layout as you do in most pages on Intacct. To save, select apply the layout changes and save your layout. So here we can start entering our estimate and building this out. Each line in the estimate represents a specific combination of task and cost type. So for each line, you're going to need to specify the workflow type, such as original, revision, or approved change. This tracks how the estimate has evolved over the life of the project. Then we have our effective date here, department, if you're using that. I'm going to remove a few things out of the table that I don't need. When you see that dark gray rectangle, you could drop it in. Okay, so here's when I start to enter my cost codes or tasks. So select the project task this line relates to and the cost type associated. Item will automatically come in depending on the setup. the cost type. I have the option to enter the external units of measure, the quantity, maybe hours, 2 hours with the unit rate. Then it'll give me an amount. If you're entering a large estimate, it is easier to import. Once your estimate entries are complete, you can save the estimate here. This is a smart rule warning I have to make sure I'm posting in the correct time period. So now this project estimate is live and intact and tied to the WBS. As the project progresses, you can compare actual costs against your estimate, track variances by task and cost type, and use change requests and change orders to revise the estimate when the scope changes occur. The real power of combining a WBS with project estimates is in your reporting, because every cost code is mapped to a specific project, task, and cost type. So you can view the cost versus estimate variance at any level of the hierarchy. You can use accumulation types to roll up the cost type data into meaningful summaries. You can track production units alongside the costs for the productivity on construction projects. And you can feed the estimate data into GL budgets for integrated financial planning. This level of detail gives project managers and financial teams a complete real-time picture of where the project stands financially at every task of work. I recommend trying this import with WBS if you're importing large estimates, and that is going to wrap up the WBS estimate. With the WBS, it brings structure, clarity, and precision to your financials. So please make sure to check this out and utilize this powerful tool in Intact.